Guys, I think it's so funny that we just keep wearing the same thing. Like, is this your Saturday wear?
This is what I wear every Saturday. So we are actually spies. So after we record an episode, we go do spy stuff.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith right here.
Yeah.
Yep, basically.
We're stagehands too.
We're also stagehands. If you ever need glow tape or nuclear secrets, we are the two of you.
Okay, this is Whyte Noise.
Whyte Noise. Oh, yeah, this is the show. I'm Michael Judson Berry.
I'm Chelsea Jacobson.
I'm Ryan Wilder here.
And this is our show where every week we pick a new topic. Each of these gentlemen next to me have 10 minutes to talk to me about that topic, however they see fit, and then I pick a winner who is competing ultimately for the Hymen Trophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right now we're tied.
Yes,
you are
we
tied.
are. We each get a prong of that Hymen.
We too. Right now we're sharing prongs. Today's gonna decide whose prong gets a little longer. Ooh.
Ew.
I don't think that's how any of that works.
That's
not how a trophy works.
We still don't know
or
what a hymen looks like.
So no one knows what a hymen is.
We still are unsure. But today is Campfire.
All I can think is my prong gets longer. What's wrong with me?
I don't know.
Do you even want that? Anyway,
Michael, you won.
I won last time, so I get to choose who goes first. And campfires, I'll go first because
wonderful.
Or actually, did you do like research on this one? Do you have like fun scientific facts about fires?
No, mine's like a little random.
Because mine is like personal stories. So I was like, if people want to learn about fire and you've actually learned how fire works, I was going to let you go first so then they can tune out when it's my turn. But I guess this is like white noise, and the idea is that this fun background noise anyway.
Yeah. None of us matters.
Okay. Then I shall go first, and we're going to tell like...
You're on. Clock's ticking.
Oh, it's ticking. Okay, so my first thought of campfires is the TV show Survivor, which I am obsessed with Survivor. So this is just a brief before I get to this story. Like my little... this is what I do. I have like 7 topics every time. This is my strategy to try and win is to just throw out as many topics as possible.
I'm gonna hit one. One will land.
Because last time it did. You picked Tom Chapin, and I only talked about Tom Chapin for all of 2 minutes.
Not a bad strategy.
I know, right? So first thing it makes me think of is show Survivor, which I think like a lot of us who were alive at the time watched the first season when it first came out because it was such a huge revolutionary show. And then I kind of got away from it, like a lot of things like the CSIs, all that, whatever. So during lockdown, though, I rediscovered Survivor because my roommate at the time, our mutual friend, Jonathan.
Oh, yes.
Is a huge Survivor fan.
Yep.
And so a new season came out, and it was like one of those All-Stars ones because it was the 40th season. So it's obviously a big deal. And I was like, it's been on.
So crazy. It's been
20 years because they do 2 seasons per year. It was like 40 seasons, and they're still going. And it's so I watched it and I got hooked. I love Survivor. I then proceeded to spend my lockdown watching 22 seasons of Survivor.
Holy shit.
Because Jonathan was very sweet and he rewatched a lot of them with me. And he was like, if you want to become a Survivor fan, like these are the seasons you watch. I'm now obsessed with Parvati, which makes me happy because she is back on that new show Traitors, which is like now like the #1 reality show right now. It's Alan Cummings' show. And it's like stars from other reality shows all competing in. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently this is season 2 and it's huge.
I think I've seen.
But they have some former Survivor winners on there. And there's this woman, Parvati, and she's become, at least for the gays, like their favorite. And I was just happy because she's my favorite Survivor of all time. She's amazing. But obviously in the show, they have the big thing they always have to have fire. And then at the big finale, they have to build fire. It always comes down to like 2 people who can build fire the fastest. That is like a whole thing. And it was really fun.
Quickly for people, because I very lightly dip my toe into Survivor. But it's like a huge thing. There's a challenge every time where like building a fire from scratch is an assignment. So like basically. You need to know, it's a very, very valuable thing if you can build a fire from scratch. It's a huge, huge part of it.
Can either of you?
No.
I can. I tried it Survivor style. Jonathan actually went and got...
She's like, kidding me?
No, Jonathan went and got flint the way they do it on the show. And we tried. It's very difficult. But we did figure it out. We did make a fire safely in a fire pit in our backyard. We didn't just like set a fire in our apartment. Which honestly wouldn't have passed me with my excitement.
At a 2-quart bowl. Set on the kitchen floor.
I know, right? No, so that's my initial gut instinct to Survivor and how much I love Survivor. But Campfire made me want to tell this story though. So this is a friend's story and it's one of my favorite like relationship stories I have ever heard because it's just like so painful. So a friend of mine who I went to acting school with. And this was like an icebreaker for the acting class where we each had to go into 4 little groups. There's 12 people, little groups of 3. And the 3 of us had to tell each other a very embarrassing story. Ooh. And then we had to swap them. And then for the class, tell the story to the class as if it's yours. And then the rest of the class had to figure out which story went with which person. Oh. So it was a real, like, intimate icebreaker. And some people kind of like flaked out and they were like, my most embarrassing thing is like, oh, I once like stepped in gum, something stupid. This girl went full in and I got to tell her story. So I stayed with it. And the class thought this was my story.
Like, that's not
so
even
I don't know awesome. If they just, and I was like, come on, guys. They were like, that's cheating, my that's yours. So the story is, she was dating this guy and they were getting very serious. He was a very outdoorsy type dude though. And she is not an outdoorsy type. So she was finally meeting his family for the first time and she was so excited, but they decided to do it as a camping trip because that's what they did. And she was like, this is weird. Like, maybe we could like go to dinner, but okay, we're going to go camping
together.
Yeah. And they like
sleep in the same room.
And when they camped, they like camped. So they were like in the woods in like British Columbia somewhere. And so it was going well though. And she was like, they were sitting around the campfire. They all were telling stories. They were doing the whole like campfire thing and actually getting along really well and having a really nice time. And she's like, I can do this. I can do family and outdoors. Look at me. I'm the fucking best girlfriend ever. And then she, they also ate like campfire food.
Okay.
Oh.
So then she had to go to the bathroom.
Oh God.
And yeah. And there obviously was she then was like, okay, so, question family, where do we go to the bathroom? And they were like, oh, there's a creek over there. You just go use that. And that face, Ryan, for the record, if you're listening, Ryan just had a face of like true WTF. And that was her reaction. She was like, what? They were like, yeah, there's a creek. You hike that way a little bit. It's like far enough away that we can't see or hear you. So you go there and she's like, okay.
Well, I guess to be fair, what else was it going to be?
Well, I think she thought there was going to be like an outhouse somewhere or like bathrooms.
Typically, honestly, you dig a hole.
Oh, okay. So
if it's real like camping. I think she was thinking like a lot of campgrounds have like bathrooms that you can sort of like walk
outhouses.
to. There's like outhouse type things.
Yeah.
It's like I wasn't expecting like a marble bathtub and countertops out there somewhere.
Yeah,
a hot shower. I don't think so.
That would glamping.
Glamping.
This was not glamping. So she hiked her way to the stream, but she was really cold and she didn't want to like get in the stream because the water was really cold. Or it was more like a river. And it was cold. So she was like, you know what I'm going to do? There was like a tree that sort of went out over it a little bit.
Oh my God.
If you can imagine, those trees that sort of grow out over water off the bank. So she sort of Tarzaned it, where she like reached, an arm and a leg over it and sort of swung out over the water. And she was like, for like a second, it was actually working really well. And she was so proud. She was like, look at me go. I'm doing this. And then the tree broke.
And she
fell into the water with the tree on top of her and it like knocked her out for a second. And so she was just in the water and she was like, I remember hearing the breaking of the tree, falling, hitting the water, and she like hit a rock and the tree falling on her. And then she was like, and then I like opened my eyes and they were all there. And so she was like, I don't know how long I was out. Like, thank God I fell in such a way where I didn't like drown.
But she's pants down.
Yeah. So this was going so well with meeting the boyfriend's family. And this is day 1. So how they found her was her pants down around her ankles, laying in the stream with a tree on top of her. And like, I'm assuming the water had at least washed away
I was like,
evidence.
please tell me that she wasn't laying in her own.
Feces,
And so so they had to obviously like fish her out and like clean her up and like let her change. And she was like, they were so sweet about it. But she was like, it was the most mortifying thing that had ever happened to me. And she was like, and they were so sweet to me the rest of the time, but like awkwardly nice because they were like trying to like make her feel better for the fact that she almost like killed herself trying to poo in the stream. Like,
did she stay with the guy?
No, it didn't. Actually, it didn't last much longer after that.
Yeah.
Sadly. But yeah, that's really when I first hear Campfires, like for whatever reason, that story sort of stayed with me. I was like, this poor woman who all she wanted to do was poo in a stream. And
fell into the stream.
Like the chances of the tree breaking and her just like clonking in.
I might have a mean opinion that I think that's her fault.
And all that to avoid the water, and then she ended up in the water. But yeah, could you imagine though?
Also, even the tree breaking or just your strength giving out or slipping or something. Yeah. I would never.
Also, you're really I
think that's just kind of her fault. Just squat down. What's so bad?
You're really not supposed to go in bodies of water either.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because you're you're sending your stuff downstream. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
maybe
the campfire story.
I don't side with the girl in the story. She's kind of wrong.
I feel terribly bad for her though.
But right, isn't that just like, ugh? Could you imagine?
I feel bad for her, but it's like not a freak accident. It's like that makes sense. What happened to her makes sense.
God, I'm having this moment of imagining my in-laws walking above me, laying half naked in a creek, and looking up and going, "Oh,
right."
Grace.
That just like,
just like they'd be like, "Oh my God!"
And just knowing, like, waking up and being like, "That's how they're seeing me now."
No.
Yeah, I don't think my boyfriend's parents ever need to see my cooch ever.
No.
Under any circumstances.
Under any trees.
No reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under any trees or circumstances.
You're gonna pass on that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
for me.
What's that? Like in a river, in a bush, in a field, on a hill. Like they need. No, nobody.
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I know.
Is it green eggs and ham? I wouldn't eat these. On a this, on a that, and a here, and a there. It's Dr. Seuss.
It's Dr. Seuss. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're out of time. So.
Oh, we're out of time. It didn't even buzz. I was going to say if we had time, I'd be like, what's your most embarrassing thing?
Mine was when I was in like 7th grade, pretty young. I was wearing this white skirt. And one of the guys in school, like just to pull a prank on me, was like, "You have shit all over your skirt," and everyone was like, "Chelsea, you have shit all like you poop on there's a poop stain on the back of your white skirt." And I like freaked out and I went to the bathroom and I like couldn't find it, and then I came outside and everyone was like, "Ha ha, we tricked you. There's no poop on your skirt."
I like that your embarrassing poop story is that there was no poop.
Yeah, but I just remember that's maybe the most embarrassed I felt in my whole life when I was 13 and thought that I had poop on my skirt in front of all my friends.
Oh, you were 13.
Yeah,
I'd be pretty embarrassed. I got pants.
I'm shameless.
Once in gym going up the rope.
On purpose?
Yeah.
That's mean.
Yeah. Showed my tidy whities to everyone.
What assholes?
Yeah, I cried.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, now you live a better life than they do, I'm sure.
Am I allowed to cry now?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No crying. Okay, but you do have 10 minutes to talk about a campfire.
Okay.
And 10 minutes starts
now. All right. So, actually, I identified with so much of your story because I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm a Boy Scout, and I grew up doing all of this stuff, right? And I'm definitely like part pyro.
This is true.
I love burning shit.
You do.
Like if I can get away with throwing it into the fire, like I will. And my husband is always like, "What are you doing? Why? That shouldn't go in there." And I'll be like, "I don't know. It's burning."
You're like, "Well, it is in there, so I guess it can go in there."
It's in there now. Go get it. But I mean, it reminds me of like you'd sit. All the adults would like go to bed, and you'd sit around the campfire and you keep the campfire going, and like it'd be like, "Well, do you think this aluminum can will burn?" And guess what? If it's hot enough, aluminum cans buy.
Really?
Oh yeah, glass fully melts.
Oh, I know glass.
Yeah, it's like, and meanwhile we're inhaling whatever is being produced off of everything that we're burning. Like idiots. But I also I have a favorite type of fire.
What's your favorite?
I like a log cabin, and it's where you set up the wood like parallel and then perpendicular parallel, right? Mm-hmm. And you build up, and it's really good because it burns for a very long time and it produces a pretty hot fire. But there are actually 5 other types of fire. I thought I'd share with everyone.
I am so glad because I was going to ask.
Yeah, 5 other types. Okay. So there's the star, which actually you see in a lot of like cartoons, and it's like if I were to set the wood and push it into the center and just burn it into the center. It's meant to conserve wood. So if you don't have a lot of wood, you just kind of burn for what you need. Okay. And then you push the wood in closer when you're ready to do more.
Okay.
And then there's platform where you put a whole bunch of wood at the bottom and put lighter wood at the top. And what it does is it creates a good fire for cooking because all the coals are very centric to the center. Log cabin, which I've already mentioned.
Doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
You're going to be ready to build a fire.
Just by the end of this episode, you are going to be camping and peeing in a stream.
Yes, and falling
and then you're going to feel guilty about it.
Foreshadowing.
You're like, this is absolutely not what I want. It's going to happen. TP, which I think is relatively obvious. It's where you take them. I also kind of question if it's not
Is that okay to say?
Yeah, we call it that anymore.
Should we call that anymore?
I don't know. I think it is. It is a teepee.
It is a teepee.
That's like physically what it is.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, we don't have to dwell on that. We can move on. Move
on quickly.
Quick, fast.
And then lean-to, which is where you put like a log and you put all the logs across it. And it also is a kind of like a slow burning fire. But so with the whole Boy Scout thing, that's where most of my like campfire stories are. And for whatever reason, this is the one that I remembered. We were canoeing through the Adirondacks, and we were doing like portages where we were carrying the canoes on our back to go to the next Finger Lake and then move up the Finger Lake and go to the next one. I forget how many miles we did, but it was about midway through the trip, and we stopped at the very southern end of this fairly long lake, and it was very cool. It was like this rock outcropping that we set up on, and I think it did a log cabin fire.
Oh,
and we lit the fire up and we cooked on it, and we had a like nice meal and sat out there and watched the sunset. And we're sitting south and looking north, and at the northern end of this lake is, I don't know how to describe it, but like it's like a star. It's like a glowing star that's like twinkling and like just kind of like sitting there.
Did you have an alien encounter?
Well, so we're all sitting there and we're watching it, and that twinkling star goes whoop and shrinks down to this teeny little dot and then goes and disappears up into the sky.
Wait, for real?
For real. And we all saw it. We all saw it. And like we're all sitting there, we're all looking at each other, and like this is so my father. My father's like, well, I hope nobody gets anally probed. Like you look back on it now and like really shouldn't have said that at a Boy Scout event.
Again, the times. Innocent times.
We were all very innocent at this time.
When you could make butt jokes.
But we ended up like, that's all we talked about for the rest of the trip.
Sure.
Like, what
anal
was
probing.
It?
Anal
probing.
Those were formative years.
Yeah, I do that now when we go out camping.
Just attack them.
But yeah, we talked about it like the entire trip, and everyone's like, what was it? And da-da-da-da. And like, I don't know. I don't know that I really believe in aliens.
I don't know. I think the idea of aliens, I think they've got to exist, right? The universe is so big. We can't be just us.
I don't know. It's like, it's one of these things that strikes me like we managed to capture everything on camera, virtually everything. We managed to capture the most minute things, but for some odd reason, we can't get Bigfoot and we can't really get aliens. Something's going on here.
I agree.
That's true.
I'm right on that one.
Like, come on.
Yeah, it is weird that now everybody has a cell phone and we don't have videos of UFOs.
I thought they do have it. I thought periodically there are like...
Yeah, but not enough to really make sense. And a lot of them are balloons.
And
I actually just read I read a lot about this because there was...
Wait, really?
There was like the congressional hearing a little bit ago, and then the piece on 60 Minutes, and so I was for a little while like, there are full-on aliens and the government's fully aware, and now I don't think so.
I think a lot of it's just our own tech or somebody else's tech. I have a feeling it's all stuff we've generated.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
My opinion. But
I don't know.
So what do you think that was?
I don't know. I don't know. One of our own little starships. Who knows? Like,
yeah.
I have a feeling
Russians.
Yeah. There was a weather balloon.
Right.
Yeah.
Is the Russians going and be like, they have so many shoes?
Yeah.
In case you missed it, we said a while ago about the Russians having shoes. It's an inside joke. If you haven't heard the previous episodes, go listen to them.
Although I feel like it was like sitting there and like it saw like, and it's like, what is this group
of kids?
And look at that gorgeous log cabin fire.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly
all right.
What
We need to leave.
Yeah. I like to think that if an alien ever comes down now, they're going to come down and be like, we present you a fire and it's a perfect log cabin.
Fire.
It's all because of you.
They saw it out on my Adirondack trip.
Yeah.
There's this really old SNL sketch that's one of my favorites where aliens come down and they like the door opens and they come out and they have like muskets. They have like musket technology, and then the humans have better guns and they're like shit, and they get back in their spaceship and take off.
I was gonna say I like the one with Kristen Wiig where like she has the really unpleasant alien experience.
Oh no, Kate McKinnon.
Oh, Kate McKinnon. My bad.
Yeah, where they're like, they gave me a bubble bath, and they're like, they came up and slapped me in the tit, like,
and then they all came over and did it.
Yeah, it's really good.
But yeah,
hasn't happened to me yet.
That's a great sketch.
Holding out time. You have 2.5 minutes.
I'm hoping for an abduction. Let's see.
I hope they pick me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you have lots of other campfire. I've seen your notes.
Let's see. So, well, I was gonna say I'm gonna give you two options. I read, I went and read about like kind of like famous or well-known campfire stories, and there's one that's like meant to be like thought about. It's a little weird, but like meant to be thought about. Or I can talk about smokeless fire pits because I'm a nerd and I do like those too.
Oh my gosh.
You're the judge.
Oh my god, I'm in the hot seat.
You are.
Let's hear about the smokeless fire pits.
Okay, smokeless fire pits. So, what's the least favorite thing about a campfire?
The smoke.
But smoke. I did kind of set that up.
Yeah.
I mean, forest fires.
Forest fires.
Yeah.
The loss of wildlife.
Yeah.
My least favorite. Burning down a whole part of California.
I kind of like the smoke. Yeah. Is that so wrong?
Well, except for when it gets you in your eyes. You know? Then it burns.
I don't mind like light smoke, but I don't need to be like.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so the fire
enveloped in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, so back in 2011, these two guys that working out of their garage developed fire pits that have what they call a reburn, right? So
not right. What is that?
Nerd with me. Nerd with me for like a second.
I will happily nerd with you.
So what happens is they burn everything in the center, and it circulates air down through it, and causes another burn to take place at the top of the fire. So what happens is all those gases and stuff that would have normally just exited, right, get reburnt up and produce heat.
Okay.
And fire instead, right? So they started with just these little ones, and now they have like these. Actually, we have one in Woodstock. We have this massive Yukon one, and it's fantastic. And actually, I burn a lot of our construction waste in it.
Don't say that.
No, it's pine.
Oh, you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, it's pine. No, I'm burning like the pine, whatever, because you can't burn that in your fireplace, by the way.
Why?
Pine?
Yeah, so softwoods, when they burn, produce a lot of like sap and stuff. And it in your chimney, it will build up and it will ultimately catch on fire. Creosote, there it is. A creosote log makes it chip up and fall off. But you're only really supposed to burn hardwoods because hardwoods don't have all those saps and all those kind of like sticky stuff.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched somebody listening to this and going, that guy is an idiot, but he's kind of right.
Oh no.
No.
Quick question though. What is smoke?
What is smoke?
What is smoke?
What is smoke?
Yeah.
Smoke is, as I understand, it's just the unburnt byproduct of combustion. It's like exhaust.
Does that make sense to you?
It does, actually.
Okay, see, I'm not following, but that's okay.
I mean, I'm sure it has stuff in it that like wasn't meant to combust, but smoke will burn, or well, the stuff that's left in smoke will burn, and to the point that you can't see what's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's made out of what?
Probably a lot of
gas.
A lot of different gases and carbon and
that get released with heat.
Yeah. This is going to be another moment where somebody else is going to listen to this and go, you know,
those guys are idiots.
This is not sharp. But they're headed in the right direction.
What I also like, which this feels like the show is becoming, is you saying interesting things and the two of us sitting the exact same way, wearing the same outfits, going, wow.
Going cool.
Forget Whyte Noise. This is Ryan Explains It All.
Truly. And we're like, oh, I think I get it.
And then I'm like, this one time a woman pooped in a stream. But you like actually have like real information.
I am learning because I don't know anything about camping. So
wow.
Yeah,
I'm willing to go camping.
Oh, I would rather.
Maybe we should do one.
No.
A site-specific episode?
I hate camping. Don't do that.
We could go up to Woodstock and pretend.
There you go. Yes, we can sit outside. Oh, on campfires, real quick. Question for you both. How do you like your marshmallows when you're making s'mores on a campfire?
There's only one good answer.
Well, everyone says that. What's your good answer?
Golden.
Yeah, so I'm a perfectionist. I like to see how many times, like at the right distance, rotated at the right speed. And I like it when you get that the outer shell pulls off and it leaves you with like another marshmallow.
Yeah.
To like then do the same thing again.
Wow. How do you achieve it though? Like, do you turn it constantly or do you just side by side and sort of block it? I hold it safely
away so it won't catch on fire, but it's still, patience.
Patience.
Low and slow.
Low and slow.
Low and slow. And it tilts perfectly golden.
Yeah.
Nice.
Low and slow.
Is that how you do it?
I try.
And then it catches on fire.
I rarely succeed. Because I also really enjoy fire and I love watching things burn. So it's like I inevitably...
Yeah, it's like if you lose one, you're like, oopsie, let's watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never the worst to watch it.
Yeah, I do love s'mores though.
In the Scouts, somebody would bring a giant thing of Crisco and melt it down.
You are from the South.
Yeah,
right?
Jesus.
They would melt it down and then you would go get Pillsbury biscuits, like the cinnamon ones or the plain ones, and you'd punch a hole in them.
Oh,
and then you drop them into the boiling Crisco and you'd fry them in the Crisco. And then you'd have paper bags of powdered sugar. They were but like,
oh my God,
after an awful
Did you
night
do like
of
a little
sleep,
cinnamon too?
Yeah, a little cinnamon too. But like after an awful night of sleeping on the ground, and like you're all a mess, and then you get this beautiful hot donut.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I didn't see it that way. I was like, I slept on the ground. I feel like crap, and now I have to eat this fried stuff.
Sounds like a great day for you.
Like, I need my smoothie and my Starbucks. I hate it here. I hate it out here. That's how I feel when I'm camping. But I do have to pick a winner.
You do.
Oh,
yes. All good things must, come to an end.
I did learn about all certain types of wood.
Fire.
Wood shapes.
Yes.
Wood assembly.
I feel like I've been very influential.
You straight up just look like every high school teacher when the kid is like, you see them 3 years later and they're just like, who was Stalin?
Yeah.
And you're just like, did I do anything?
I tried so hard.
You did. I retained a little bit. And I learned about that girl cursing in herself.
I know. It's real.
And honestly, that's a great story. So I got to hand it to
What?
Michael.
I'm so sorry. You had actual facts and I just had a story. But I was, thank you.
I'm just a human.
Thank
Am
you.
I allowed to cry?
Facts.
Am I allowed to cry?
Yeah, you can cry now.
Okay.
You're allowed. I'm so sorry. But I do have to pick a winner.
I know.
Every time.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm one step closer to the Hymen Trophy.
How many times have you said that?
Oh, yeah. It's as close to a Hymen as I think either of you's ever going to get. Maybe.
My gosh. All right. Well, that was exciting. Thank you.
On that note.
On that note.
Oh, lovely.
Next week, what do we got?
We have got Jay Leno.
Jay Leno.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking late night, and then I thought, what host? Jay Leno.
Jay Leno.
First one that came to mind. So apologies in advance.
Yeah.
We'll Jay Leno you later.
Oh,
does that work? What?
I'll Jay Leno you later.
Oh, God.
Jay Leno, that doesn't work.
I had somebody Jay Leno me in college.
What does that even mean?
Very sweet boy.
Oh, gosh.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
It has something to do with the chin, though. It has a chin.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll find out next week.
Maybe.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bye.
Bye.